why ECO is far behind than many other organizations in the region which emerged quite late but quite active in the region?
I think it's a multiplicity of a structural problem, mismatch in systems, some political deficit, international sanctions, some political differences between countries of the region.
Do you have any specific figure that what exactly is the trade potential among ECO countries?
The overall trade of the region with the rest of the world is about $1 trillion and $19 billion.
This artificial intelligence has given a new challenge to the entire world. So how ECO is going to forge in future more close cooperation in developing educational linkages?
Science and technology is a low-hanging fruit for countries like ours.
Any particular step to promote tourism?
I must appreciate the good work that the Punjab Tourism Department has done in bringing out the attractiveness of Lahore in all its dimensions.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, Economic Cooperation Organization is one of the oldest economic development organization of the region. And originally it was created in 1964 with Pakistan, Iran and Turkey. Later on it was expanded. More countries were included and it was renamed. In 1992, it was expanded to more countries. Currently, ECO stands and comprises of 10 member states as a powerful economic development organization. Its purpose is to further develop economic linkages among member countries, push forward the economic prosperity, economic linkages, socio-economic development, tourism, trade. These are some of the things that even world is talking right now, that trade should be promoted, economic linkages should be promoted. Recently, one of the most vibrant personality forward Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, Dr. Asad M. Khan, joined Economic Cooperation Organization as Secretary General in 2024, assumed his responsibility, and so far, number of events have been taken. But in today's conversation, dear viewers, we will be focusing that despite one of the oldest economic development organization, this organization has been unable to turn around economy of the region. What are the factors? We will try to explore those factors which are creating hurdles, hampering economic development. Dr. Asad Majid Khan sir, very warm welcome to our program. And of course, you have been a quite dynamic person, previously Pakistan's ambassador to United States, and you have been also part of sustainable development goals in United Nations in creating consultation, very rich experience. So we hope that all that experience you will be applying on Economic Cooperation Organization. Question is, so in the backdrop of so many rapid developments in the world, right in the region, like there are many more organizations emerged. Of course, this is the oldest one. But why ECO is far behind than many other organizations in the region which emerged quite late but quite active in the region?
Well, first of all, Mateen, thank you very much for having me. And
you're always welcome.
And I recall that perhaps I think I was one of the first ambassadors that you interviewed when you started the V English channel.
Last year,
it's certainly a pleasure and an honor for me to return to your program and of course in my new capacity as the Secretary General of ECO, and as you have, I think, very rightly put your finger on the question. That why is it that this organization has not reached its potential? And I say
exactly. This is the point.
And I am grappling with that question, and I find it actually intriguing because having been in the system of diplomacy for almost 38 years.
4 decades.
4 decades. I can't think of another region which has as many overlaps, historic, cultural, linguistic, religious. We were all part of the old Silk Route. So by any definition, we are a natural fit. And I think you also rightly pointed out that we started in 1964 as a Regional Cooperation for Development. And mind you, 1964 was the year of the awakening of the South and the introduction of the South-South cooperation notion in international
particularly
relations.
These 3 countries were active, Pakistan, Iran and Turkey.
And we were all developing countries. We came together to promote development. And I would say that if you go back to the original declaration that was signed by the President of Pakistan, the President of Turkey, and Shah of Iran, it was quite lofty.
Progressive approach.
And very, very ambitious in it. So, coming back, really, I think it's a multiplicity of structural problem, mismatch in systems, some political deficit, international sanctions, some political differences between countries of the region. And I think all of that cumulatively has resulted in not allowing this organization to reap the dividends of regional integration and to achieve optimal regional integration. Because clearly, you know, for an organization that came together to promote trade, we are still trying to actually agree on a region-wide framework for trade collaboration. We are still trying to, you know, and its operationalization is still also. And similarly, when we look at connectivity, because, you know, even in the context of connectivity also, the terrain itself is the most formidable challenge. We live in a very treacherous terrain, so building up the road connections, those road connections that are there are very rudimentary.
It's a basic communication infrastructure. Exactly for economic development.
Exactly. So that also, and that requires, you know, it's a lot of financial investments.
Huge investments.
So between the scale of investments required and the return that is promised, is a long-term thing, you know, and that basically does not interest the private sector and the business sector and the international financial institutions.
Certain risks are involved.
Yes, involved. So all of that together, but I must say that at the same time with the evolving geopolitical situation, not only in the region but globally also, there is a newfound desire, and I would say that in some ways we are looking at an ECO moment in the region, in the organization, and it's
an ECO moment.
Yes, yes, it is really time for this region that should have started to look inwards long time ago. This is actually the time for the region to reinvent. And it's not really a question of creating. Mateen, we only need to refresh, renew, renew the historic, you know, centuries old. I mean, I was going through some of the history books and I was really amazed to see that 2,000 years ago, we were a more integrated region than we are today.
Now.
So why is it that we cannot actually reintegrate
And you have already
ourselves?
highlighted some of the factors.
Exactly.
So keeping in view these all things, you also mentioned certain geopolitical, geostrategic reasons. And currently, if you look into the one of the main factor that emanates from Washington, trade wars and these all things. And you spoke nicely about trade potential. Do you have any specific figure that what exactly is the trade potential among ECO countries, Although, as you said, we are trying to reach on some consensus.
According to a study carried out
Yes.
by Pakistan Institute of Development Economics,
PIDE.
the estimate is that right now the overall trade of the region with the rest of the world is about $1 trillion and $19 billion.
$1 trillion and $19
billion
billion.
dollars, and
This is the potential.
This is the actual
trade volume right now
with the world.
Of ECO countries.
Of ECO countries.
This
But
is a
within
huge-
that, last year, we had about $100 billion of intra-ECO trade.
Within ECO.
Within ECO. That makes it about 8.8% of the total volume of trade by ECO member states.
And where you see in the future?
And that's where PIDE projects that if we were to actually have a workable, feasible trade framework, we can increase this trade by 8 times.
8 times.
8 times. So
intra-ECO.
Intra-ECO. So
8 times.
very clearly, we can actually get close to just the intra-regional trade. We can bring it closer to almost $800-900 billion. And it's sad and it's unfortunate that if we look at some of the other regional organizations and even including in Africa, they have been able to achieve in ASEAN, it is 30%, 35% plus. In Europe, it is 65% in the European Union. So we are hovering around 8%. And for Pakistan, nationally, we are just about 4%, in terms of our contribution with the rest of the ECO member
This is
states.
what my next question is, since Pakistan is among the founding members of previously as known as RCD, Regional Cooperation
For
Organization, exactly. What is Pakistan's contribution in pushing forward the goals of economic development within ECO, making it more strong, pushing forward economic and trade objectives?
Let me tell you that, in Islamabad alone, we are hosting 3 ECO institutions.
3 ECO institutions.
The ECO Science Foundation, ECO Postal Staff College, and the Secretariat of the Parliamentary Assembly of ECO. We also are in the process of hosting ECO Reinsurance Company in Karachi.
It's in the pipeline.
It's in the pipeline. The agreement is there. The modalities and documentation is being completed. So that tells you a lot about our level of commitment to the work of this organization. Secondly, in the past 4 days, I was here in Islamabad. I am here in Islamabad. And first, I attended the first expert group meeting on internationalization of education in the ECO region, which brought together the member states
Experts
to
and
look at
education.
ways in which we can deepen our educational collaboration. And then from tomorrow onwards, we have this international conference on science, technology, and innovation, and as the stimulators of regional connectivity and sustainable development.
This is what an immediate follow-up question. Science, technology, cooperation is the need of the hour, including artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence, science, and technology are linked with the education. So science, technological education, artificial intelligence education, and this artificial intelligence has given a new challenge to the entire world. So how ECO is going to forge in future more close cooperation in developing educational linkages and close cooperation in science and technology in the wake of this AI?
really, I think at the end of the day, I mean, we are also a region which is relatively a young region, you know, and all of our countries, including Pakistan, where we have almost 63 to 66% population under 30 years of age, you know, and the average is perhaps smaller in some of the other.
Nowhere in the world,
It is. So that is a huge asset, one. And secondly, you know, all development, while we are resource-rich region also, we have some of the largest reservoirs of energy and some of the very precious metals and minerals also available in the region. But I think that becomes secondary when we look at the human resource potential of the region. And that's really, and having spent...
Why that human resource potential has not properly been tapped?
I think, and that's the reason why we have not been able to grow as much as we should have.
We should have spent more on developing human resource.
Absolutely, because you know I've spent a lifetime in Japan also, Mateen, and I studied in Japan. And if you look at Japan, they are not blessed.
Secret of their growth. What is secret?
They are not blessed with any natural resource.
The way Pakistan, huge country,
and yet
deserts, mountains, rivers, plains, and whatnot.
And that's where, you know, they have focused on their human resource. They have developed their human resource, and that is what has actually produced the development miracle in Japan.
Pakistan must learn this thing from Japan.
And not only Pakistan, I think we need to basically, and that's also something, you know, I've mostly served outside of the region. So for me, it's the first time to be spending this much time in the region. And I say this very honestly to you, that there is very little that we know about each other, of the contemporary realities, you know, of the potential, the scientific advancements, the industrial advancements that Iran has made, the potential that Turkey has, you know, the important educational developments taking place in Kazakhstan and the industrialization in Uzbekistan and tourism promotion, you know. So that's where we need to focus on our youth, bring our universities and educational institutions and research institutions. And this meeting was particular because clearly, if you ask me, for me, science and technology, one, is a low-hanging fruit for countries like ours. And two, it is a force multiplier. You know, you invest $1 in science and technology, the reward and the dividends are much more, you know. And instead of taking the long route, and of course you spoke about artificial intelligence, that's really where the future is. And Pakistan has actually a lot to share with the rest of the region. And then at the same time, a lot to learn from other members of the region also. So our really, I think, job, and that's another challenge, Mateen, I would say, that somehow, and then you asked me about the reasons why we've not grown as much as we could or we should. I think the other reason is that we have somehow kept the conversation exclusively between the government to government channels. And we have not involved the private sector as much as they should. We have not involved other stakeholders, youths.
We also ignored people-to-people contacts.
Actually. We really, I mean, I am discovering in Iran about facets of their society, about their culture, about their geography.
So rich.
Yet being such a close neighbor, and we have deep historic connections. So that's the missing link. I think where ECO can play a very, very important bridge building role in one, bringing the countries together, in creating those networking opportunities, because I think we are dealing with three movements.
We are dealing with three movements.
One is the movement of goods. Two is the movement of people. And three is the movement of capital. And somehow, I think in all three, our performance has been less than optimal for a number of reasons that I don't think we have time to go into. But I can tell you that we are starting this year with a renewed commitment. We are starting this year with a very clear and quite upbeat roadmap laid out in terms of the meetings and the processes that we seek to revive to put new energy into the work of the organization.
Dr. Saab, you just in your conversation mentioned about tourism potential. And since you are a diplomat par excellence and you have huge exposure than me, but I've been also to Europe, some of the smaller countries earns billions of dollars from tourism sector. They have opened up. Europe is one. And ECO region, as you said, it's a huge potential, not only potential in terms of economic development, but also in tourism. One of, as you mentioned about Iranian society, rich heritage, same as Turkey, same as Iran, same as Pakistan, and the other member countries from Central Asia, huge tourism potential. Religious tourism potential is also there. So are you focusing on this and any particular move, step to promote tourism? Because tourism is connectivity, tourism is development, tourism is trade, tourism is everything.
Oh, yes. Actually, I would say that Thailand
Is a smaller
became
country.
Was a tourist destination much before it became an investment destination. Vietnam was a tourist destination much before it became an investment destination. And so these two, things
Tourism and investment
are linked.
Linked with
Because
each
when
other.
people come and they feel comfortable, they like the place, they want to come back. And when they want to come back, they want to explore possibilities and opportunities, and when the volume grows, obviously,
True.
It becomes an industry also. And that is, Mateen, actually the reason why I am actually in Pakistan, because
To focus on these
one
things.
was, of course, my first official visit to Pakistan as Secretary General.
How it has
ECO.
been so far? Visits
I
and
think
your
I have
interactions?
actually interacted from Prime Minister down to practically every relevant minister and department dealing with issues that we handle under ECO. But one of the reasons for me to come here was also to go to Lahore on the invitation of the provincial government. And I must say, I am a hardcore Lahori.
Hardcore Lahori.
Hardcore Lahori. And we were hosted. And this was the first time that the ECO Council of Permanent Representative came
hosted.
out, was hosted in Lahore.
In Lahore.
Or any ECO event hosted outside of Islamabad.
True.
One, and secondly, only the second time in the history of ECO that a non-chairing country hosted the ECO Council of
Non-chairing
Permanent.
country.
And
Beautiful.
this was basically done by the Chief Minister Punjab, essentially to campaign for declaring Lahore as the ECO capital for 2027.
For 2027, it has been declared.
It will be.
It will be.
It is. That's what the pitch was. And on 26th, 25th, and 26th of this month, we are going to Erzurum, which is the ECO capital for this year in Turkey, where the ECO tourism ministers are going to meet, and they will decide, among others, the capital. And we will actually also chair the ECO for 2027 as well. So the Secretary General will be from ECO, Lahore will be, inshallah, hopefully.
So it
the
will be
capital,
Pakistan which will be hosting.
which will be, yes. So
Okay.
that's what the objective was. But what I'm trying to say is that I must appreciate the good work that the Punjab Tourism Department has done in bringing out the attractiveness of Lahore in all its dimensions. And then for the ECO ambassadors who accompanied me on this visit, I tell you, you need to see
They
them.
were fascinated
They
and
were
mesmerized.
absolutely blown away. They were blown away. And also, I think what really was very interesting, like we went to the Punjab Secretariat and we were looking at some of the old archives, which were all in Persian. And
All
so
in Persian.
For all
centuries old.
for most of these, delegations, they are very familiar with Persian language, including, of course, the Iranian representative.
True.
So they saw in Lahore the historic, cultural, and heritage linkages that we have, this country has with the ECO region. And that's the kind of family feeling that we need to promote. In Turkey alone, they have 100 million tourists coming.
100 million tourists.
So that's one of their major industries, So for us, it really should be a national priority. It should be a key national industry.
True.
Because what we have in terms of offering for tourism, be it adventure tourism, be it religious tourism, be it heritage tourism, be it Silk Road related tourism, you name it.
True.
The possibilities and potential is there, and I'm glad. And then we will be working through the ECO window also to promote that.
So, since ECO is meant, as you said, economic development organization focusing on trade, new Trump tariffs, what do you think? Of course, as the whole world is being affected, the ECO region, what do you think of these Trump tariffs on this ECO region? The ambitious targets that you have mentioned, do you think it is going to affect the trade of these ECO member countries?
Well, first of all, I'll really look at it from two different angles.
True.
One is the impact on the trade flows within the ECO region. Towards United States. And if I were to look at that, the volume of trade is rather, relatively speaking, small. It's
with
about,
America.
With America. It's about $47 billion. And of all the ECO member states, it is actually Turkey and Pakistan that have basically significant trade flows. Pakistan probably has the largest so-called deficit.
Exactly.
Turkey doesn't have that. I think exports are about imports are 15 billion and their exports are 17 billion.
True.
So from that perspective, and then the tariffs have not been imposed on countries other than Turkey and Pakistan. So from that perspective, it may not really directly impact or affect all the ECO member states. But now, coming back, the bedrock of multilateral trading system is the predictability and certainty that you have in terms of the tariffs that you can impose and the taxes that you can impose. And these are all negotiated between states under the rubric of World Trade Organization, So when you resort to these unilateral actions, and unilateralism, whether it is in the context of trade or it is in the context of assistance or, it is in the context of financial markets. It leads to uncertainty and unpredictability, which is frankly a dampener for trade flows, which impacts the ability and essentially the appetite of the exporters to export or to import from countries where that kind of uncertainty is there. So I'm sure that actions have been taken, and what we are seeing is that a cycle of announcement and withdrawal, reduction, increase. So clearly, all of this is subject to negotiation, and I'm sure countries are engaged, looking at it and engaged in some kind of conversation through the diplomatic channels. But for us in the region,
True.
It's really, I think, high time. Not that these actions should trigger us to start looking inwards. We should do it independently. But
True.
I think this will definitely push things even faster in terms of making the region think that, as I said, that we are a natural fit. We have been historic trading partners.
True.
And for any region, it is very, very important to trade with their neighbors, to increase the trade flows, because that geographic contiguity in the context of trade is a huge advantage that we must not lose and take advantage of.
So since you're talking about trade, any future plan that trade could be conducted within the local currencies, barter system, because it is some of the countries in the region already doing that, bypassing international currencies. So focus is to give strength to the local currencies. Yes.
Again, I think for us right now, and Pakistan leads the trade committee, and we hosted the ECO Equata Trade Council, which is the framework agreement for trade within ECO.
Still under
last
consideration?
Year. No, it is negotiated, agreed, it is not implemented. So we had that meeting last year in July. And a very important outcome of that meeting was this intergovernmental agreement to start renegotiating the agreement with a view to its early operationalization. So that's where
it's on the agenda.
It is on the agenda. We are going to have the ECO trade ministers meeting on the 5th one after a gap of 14 years.
After a gap of 14 years.
In Turkey.
When?
And on 25th of June.
25th June.
Yes. So that's where all these decisions regarding the operationalization, renegotiation if necessary, and the eventual achievement of a free trade area for ECO is something that the ministers will be collectively reflecting on. And we are pinning a lot of hopes on that. So once that is done, then we will come down to some of the other priorities as you were asking. But for now, I think for us, this meeting, we hope is going to be a path-breaking ministerial, and we certainly look to some important decisions taken.
Second last question is regarding when SAARC was created, people-to-people contact and tourism, as you said, it's also part of ECO. Visa regimes were relaxed so that people could travel each other country, member countries within SAARC region. South Asia is also huge potential, and ECO having 10 member countries. Any move in the future for relaxing visa regimes so that business people who wanted to visit ECO member countries, business people, media persons, common tourists could visit, and if visa regimes are relaxed, any consideration?
That's very important. And one of the things that we did under SAARC was to come up with this SAARC visa sticker,
exactly,
which allowed countries the listed
all
categories
7 to 8 countries,
yes.
Exactly.
And that's something that we are trying to introduce also. We also want to work, and we are actually working, although we have a visa abolition agreement which is signed and basically for the officials. But some of the countries are not members of that. So that's a conversation. It's not just visas, it's also seamless flight connections and the road connectivity, unless you create economies of scale. Now I understand we started new flights twice a week from Lahore to Uzbekistan,
Lahore to Uzbekistan.
Yes. We had several flights to Iran, but now we only have one coming to Lahore, So I
only
have
one.
Yes,
once a week.
Mahan Air comes to Lahore, and so connectivity. If I have to fly to Dubai or Doha,
exactly, is the essential.
So that's visa, because you can build state-of-the-art roads. If people cannot get visas, then it would not lead to nothing.
Exactly.
So that's also something, particularly for the businessmen, will be on the agenda of this forthcoming ministerial meeting.
last only, so your thoughts about economic development, future of this entire region. And we always say that there is a huge potential, huge future. And in your words, as a Secretary General of ECO, what is the economic development future of this region?
My dream is when I was serving as ambassador of Pakistan in Brussels and to the European Union. What I noticed was that when in Europe, you only get to know that you have crossed from one country into another country through the beep that you get of the service provider.
Exactly, I also.
There is no other way to judge and to see.
You're welcome to state of Belgium, yes. You're welcome to Netherlands, and you're welcome to Germany.
So my dream is that historically we were integrated that way many centuries ago, and we should work gradually, incrementally, to create that political consensus where we
by ignoring foreign pressures.
I think foreign pressures is there, will always be
always there, exactly.
But then, diplomacy is the art of doable. And while we may have our differences, but I think what unites us is much more than what divides us. And then that's the idealism that I have gone into, assume this position. For me, it is not just another job. For me, it is a mission. And I will, inshallah, in the 3 years that I have, and we have for the first time started a year with absolute clarity on at least 5 ministerial meetings, which is, and then we will have ECO summit also in Baku. In Azerbaijan, the city is still not, on 3rd and 4th of July. Where we will actually, this is the 17th summit, we will have a whole week where we have already agreed to have the women contribute to the drawing up of the new vision for the organization for 10 years, next 10 years.
True.
We have a business summit. We have a youth forum. So we really want to engage all the stakeholders. I had a very good detailed meeting with the president of Azerbaijan. He's personally committed. And when I go to the region, I meet leadership. They are all
You are inviting other leaders, exactly.
Oh, they are all invited. In fact, countries other than ECO are also being invited to this summit, because we obviously would want to showcase this organization to the rest of the world also. So we are looking to a successful and productive summit, inshallah, this year.
So the future of this region is quite bright. And if the potential is properly tapped, if there is more focus on development of human resource, then this region can of course be one of the biggest economic industrialist, and the entire region could be a tourism hub, could be a connectivity hub, could be economic and development hub with a huge state potential if there is a proper direction. And as Secretary General of ECO said, the future of this organization and the region is quite bright. Dr. Asad Majid Khan Sahab, despite your busy schedule, you participated in our program. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for sharing very insightful information and futuristic goals and ambitions of this organization. We also wish you best of luck. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz.